Technical Advisory Committee meeting, March 26th, call to order. And first is introductions. Let's go starting on my left.
Afternoon, Dave Ripper at SCTCA.
I'm scared me. Oriana Hart, City of Sebastopol.
Hunter McLaughlin, County of Sonoma Spy.
Jason San Pietro, City of Rohnert Park.
Brendan Barrett, Town of Windsor.
Frank Bigberg, City of Petaluma.
Trina Wilson, City of Santa Rosa.
Greg Scott, City of Cotati.
Derek Montani, City of Cloverdale.
Shauna Gause, SCTCA.
And to the back.
Chris Barney, SCTCA.
Steph Britt, SCTCA.
Adam Garcia, SCTCA.
And Dawn, introduce yourself, and if you could read the names of who's online.
Sure. We have Chris Cohn from SCTCA, Dana Turry from SCTCA, Emily Betts from, I believe she's with PI now, right? Is that Sonoma County Transit. Irene Olson, and I believe it's Margot Oconius with SCTCA.
And
Sorry, Ashley Cotter, City of Sonoma.
well, thank you, everybody. Larry's not able to make it today, so I'm stepping in for today's meeting. And first item is public comment. Are there any comments on anything not already on the agenda? Do you have anything online? Any hands raised? Hearing none. Moving to the approval of the meeting notes from February 26th. Does anybody have any notes or corrections? With that, I'm assuming the meeting minute notes are approved. And so moving on to item 4, TAC chair and vice chair election. And just a brief plug. I would love it if somebody would take on the position of vice chair. I realized I've been doing this almost 2.5 years now, and time flies, and it's a perfect way to be involved in the TAC. Thank you for your working with me during this time. And I just want to open it up like Larry did at last meeting, making a really good pitch about it's not a life position, but he has held his position for quite a while. So I'll turn it over to Shauna.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. So we have in the past run this a little bit looser where it has sometimes felt like chair for life, but our administrative code requires that we hold an election every year. So we are going to try to bring ourselves into line. And I believe that the chair would like to entertain nominations for the standing chair would entertain nominations for chair and vice chair for the year of 2026. And then we will probably continue this at an annual basis at the January meeting. We will start doing this on an annual basis. And I would propose that the chair be chair for a year, and then the vice chair can step up into the chair position and we can renominate a vice chair so that we have somebody who has been filling in for a little bit and is more comfortable taking that role.
All right. And with that, a question?
No.
Are you nominating yourself?
I'm ready to nominate Tarina for chair.
Ooh.
Oh, second.
Really fun.
Confirm that she would accept the nomination. That was me whispering to her.
Would you accept the nomination, Trina?
That's fine, yes.
Okay, thank you. And so now I have to call if there's any other, are there any other nominations?
Just when you do vice chair, or do you do chair first?
Let's do chair first and then we can do vice chair. So you have a motion and a second.
And so we can call for a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Oh my guys.
congratulations. All right, so now we open the nominations for vice chair. Trina.
I nominate Bjorn as head of retribution.
That's fine.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any other nominations for the position of vice chair? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so we have a chair and vice chair. So I think we turn over the gavel to the chair now.
Right now?
Would you like to change seats? Or would you like me to bring the gavel to you?
I kind of like this side of the room. That's fast. Do we have a script? What do I do?
We have the agenda.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you out.
Where
Would you like me to sit down there?
What?
Would you like me to sit next to you?
That might be
That's
best.
fine.
Okay.
We're going to number 5. Item 5. SCTCA RCPA local contributions for fiscal year 26-27. I assume that's Shauna.
Actually, I think David is.
Oh my gosh, I already messed up. Sorry, guys.
No, no. That wasn't obvious.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is the annual item that we bring to you as information for your budgeting purposes of the local contributions for both SCTCA, or excuse me, SCTA and RCPA, since they're still budgeted as our old names. The amount for fiscal year 26-27 is proposed to increase based on the CPI by 3%. We have a cap, I believe, of 3% increase, or it's really been kind of around 3%. In the past, it's gone a little higher than that. So that's what we're proposing for next fiscal year. The contribution amounts are provided as an attachment to the staff report for your budgeting purposes, and these will be included in our preliminary budget that will be going to the SCTCA board in May. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I have a kind of a silly question. I've never done anything with these. Do you want us to pass these on to our finance department?
Yes,
Okay.
that'd be helpful.
All right.
Usually the process is Susan sends out invoices in November after the budget's adopted, and then you may be copied on some reminders to get the invoices paid, but usually it's the finance staff that handles it.
Any other questions?
You're doing great as chair.
Thank you so much. We're now going to move to number 6. Fiscal year 26-27 TDA 3 program of projects. This is a discussion and an action. For our action, we would consider recommending approval of the TDA Article 3 program of projects to the SCTA Board of Directors.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be taking this item. We also have Margot Conyers and Deanna Trey online if there's any questions. Normally we take this item through CBPAC, but we're starting to take this all through the TAC as well. Unfortunately, the CBPAC meeting, they did not have a quorum this week, so they'll be having a special meeting in April as they are required to approve the TDA 3 program of projects. For this year, we did receive 3 applications from Seminole County Pie and from Santa Rosa, totaling $758,000 in TDA 3 funds through their proportional shares they got through TDA 3. There are carryover funds available to the other jurisdictions that didn't submit applications for future cycles. However, at this point, we're recommending that you approve the TDA 3 program of projects. The board will be acting on this in May, but as I mentioned, we'll have to have a special CBPAC meeting in April for them to approve it, since that's a required action by MTC. Along with that, the county will be doing a complete streets checklist using the new format for their Arnold Drive bike lane project, which is also a Measure M project. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, Madam Chair.
Are there any questions in the group? This is supposed to be a fun board, guys. No questions, comments, discussion. Does
A great
anyone?
group of projects.
Yeah, so for Santa Rosa, I guess I could give some info. We have 2. Our BPAB wanted to put a small amount to put a flashing beacon at a location on our high entry network where We've had several collisions, one of them a very serious injury of a city employee. And then the rest is going to supplement the SS4A grant that we had received in the multi-jurisdictional one that several of us had projects on. So that'll be nice. This is a motion item. Let me go back to part action item. Does anybody want to make a motion to recommend these projects to the SCTCA board?
So moved.
Yeah, you have a question?
No, I wanted to make a.
Oh, great.
Second to whichever.
Am I supposed to then say Hunter has provided a motion? Does anybody want a second?
I thought I provided motion in Hunter, but that's a
Oh,
question.
okay.
Can the county
Oh, that's
provide the
true.
primary
Yeah,
and
probably
second
all
if we're
of
the
the
same
above.
voting?
Probably
That
not.
would be ideal.
For achievers. Okay,
I'll second it.
great. Ashley seconds.
Did you get that, Dawn?
I did.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Item 7, Measure M and Sonoma invoicing and obligation status.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the invoicing and obligation status is provided to you monthly. This is something that did actually get updated, but it was after it made it into the agenda packet. So there are a couple of new appropriations that should be listed there. They'll be listed next month. But this is a way for jurisdictions to track what they have active and when they are supposed to be invoicing us for those funds. That completes that item.
Okay, 7.2.
7.2 is the maintenance of effort reporting. So we did bring you a status report for the last few months. We've been trying to update you. We have received all of the reporting from each of the jurisdictions now. Only one of the jurisdictions came in under their MOE requirement. They are about 8% below. And so staff is recommending that the TAC instruct the board that the allocations should be reduced by that amount, that 8% for their next annual. It's not apportionment. Yes, their apportionment. Thank you. For the Sonoma Roads program.
So this is an action item
It is an
for
action.
us. Okay.
Correct.
Can I ask a question since that's?
Certainly.
where you-
Absolutely.
Is that $11,000 to be subtracted from the 140, or is 140 already have that included in it?
No, that is subtracted from the 140. Both are estimates since we haven't actually collected the revenue yet. So 140 is what we anticipate would be Sebastopol's share, and then 8% of that 140 is represented by the 11,000. Mhm.
All right. Would anyone want to make a motion to recommend that the Sebastopol's percentage below baseline be withheld from their 26-27 Sonoma Roads program allocation? I don't think anyone really wants to do it. Yeah, another question?
So do we have the power to just waive that and say we're not going to inflict that penalty?
The policy does not give us discretion to waive the policy. It would have to be an amendment to the policy by the SCTA board, which would run afoul of public utility code requirements. So it's not something we would recommend since the maintenance of effort requirement is needed for your SB1 gas tax revenues as it is.
I would think we suggest we consider a no vote, no position vote on it, just to stay neutral.
Do you need a vote? Is this like perfunctory? We need to, like the code requires a motion to approve this?
The code requires that the TAC consider making a recommendation. So if that's what this will also go before the Citizens Advisory Committee. Did not make it to this month's Citizens Advisory Committee agenda, so it will go next month. And then this item will go before the board in May. But I can take both recommendations.
I mean, just to, elaborate on that position, is it just seems counterproductive. If an agency doesn't meet their maintenance of effort, that they're reduced the amount of funding for the following year. So I would suggest that this body just make no recommendation.
Does that end up being a motion for no recommendation? A motion to not take a motion?
Or just
We're doing
Motion to
Or
not
we
make a
can-
recommendation. I think what I heard was a motion for the TAC to make no recommendation.
You could also choose to just not have a motion, and that'd be the same effect.
Do you vote on if you don't make a motion? You guys are really throwing me a new thing on my first day.
I would like to amend my motion.
You guys are looking for a motion in a second, right?
We're looking for a recommendation.
You're keeping it spicy.
So if the TAC does not
Just
want to
not
make a
make a motion.
recommendation, then yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
I'll rescind my motion to just let it go away.
It dies on the floor.
Does anyone feel differently? Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
7.3.
3. Sorry.
Early reporting.
Sorry, the quarterly reporting, thank you. So the quarterly reporting was sent out earlier this afternoon. I believe it was just afternoon. It might have been just before noon. But you all submitted, all of the project sponsors submitted your quarterly reporting for both the STIP Exchange Fund Program and the Go Sonoma programs. And so this is required reporting on a quarterly basis. You all have submitted it. What we provided was for you a document for you to review to ensure that it is accurate as to what you submitted, and then it will be submitted to the board. So it's really just for, it's an informational item for you to check and provide us with any comments if there is something that you find is inaccurate or misrepresented.
Everybody check in your free time.
It was emailed out separately.
When do you need that back?
As soon as possible. Tomorrow would be great. Hopefully it's not too much of a burden because you have already submitted your reporting. So it should be familiar to you.
All righty. Any questions about that? Okay. Item 8, we'll start with 8.1.
Sure, that's the inactive federal obligation status. We provide this to you every month. The list this month only includes one jurisdiction, the County of Sonoma, and we are still looking for updated status, although we do see that some of the projects that have been longstanding on this list have been removed, so well done. But we are looking for a status update on those projects that are still there.
8.2.
That is Chris Barney.
I don't have a presentation. Okay. That's okay, I can stand over here. So I'm going to give an update on the TOC policy. If we need to, I can bring up some presentation materials. But I attach in the agenda packet a staff report. Is that going through, Don? There we go. I'll just set that there. I attached a staff report and a slide deck that went to our board of directors this last month, in which the planning advisory committee also saw this last month, just providing an update on where the transit oriented communities policy is and landing, along with some schedule items and shifts in the overall policy. So I can walk through that verbally, and if there are any questions, we can maybe bring up some of those slides, or I can walk through those. But there's been a pretty big shift in how the policy is going to be administered. So it shifted from you need to do this to access your OBAG funding to an incentive-based program. So that's a pretty big change. So not scoring highly in the TOC policy isn't going to lock you out from any standard OBAG funding, but the commission has identified 45 million across the region as incentive funding. So for jurisdictions that score above an 85 in the rubric, so all the planners have been working on this for the last 1.5 to 2 years, you'll be able to access that 45 million. There's also been a 5 million North Bay set aside that's going to be rolled into our OBAG funding as well. So we'll see a little over $1 million bump to our OBAG funding that'll go out. So that's nice. So there have been changes to some of the scoring that's outlined in the MPC materials. The planners are definitely aware of that and how that'll affect scores. But basically, they provided some more flexibility and considered some of the some state legislation to be able to take credit for complying with some of that state legislation associated with housing density. They've also pushed out the deadline for getting scoring and materials together to July 1st, 2027. So a big push there. There'll be no credit for work in progress. And then to access that $45 million in incentive funding, jurisdictions will have to score an 85. And that's all. There's a performance-based formula there. There'll be larger awards for more TOCs and larger jurisdictions, and a minimum award amount to make it worth it. So here in Sonoma County, we would qualify for the 2 smallest buckets. So for small jurisdictions with 1 TOC or population under 100,000 people, the grant or incentive awards would be between 1 or 2 million. And for medium jurisdictions, which includes Santa Rosa and Petaluma, that have 2 or more or 2 TOCs or 100,000 population. So Santa Rosa is overpopulation and TOCs. Petaluma has 2 TOCs. That award amounts between 2 and 4 million. So again, the TOC score doesn't affect OBAG 4 funding, only eligibility for the incentive funding. They can be used for any OBAG 4 eligible project. It doesn't have to be in a TOC. So it is a true incentive. If you have that high score, you can apply it for any other type of project within your jurisdiction that would be otherwise eligible for OBAG funding. So any technical assistance is going to keep going to that 2027 deadline. So I know a number of jurisdictions have projects, TA projects underway right now. So that provides a little more time to complete those. And then MTC will be returning later this spring to revise the policy associated with transit extension projects. So again, just to review the timeline, TOC submissions will be due July 1st, 2027. The scores will be finalized in the fall of 2027. The commission will award funding to qualified jurisdictions in the winter of 27, and then programming will happen in spring of 28. So that's kind of like, that's how long everyone has to get their scores in and when the funds will be available for projects. So, and then after 2028, they're expecting additional technical assistance to help jurisdictions that want to keep working on improving their scores, and then considering potential future rounds of TOC grants as well. So likely still using the incentive-based formula. So just a little bit of an update from the planners. We're making good progress up here in Sonoma County. So Katati was mentioned a number of times in the commission discussions around TOC policy. So we think we should be doing pretty well for being eligible for that incentive funding. So hopefully we'll have between 2 and 5 or so jurisdictions that can access that funding. So MTC doesn't have the scores yet, but the planners are working on self-scoring, and some of that technical assistance has been associated with filling in score sheets and calculating scores. So hopefully your planning folks have a decent idea for where you're at right now. And again, that line to be eligible is 85. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Madam Chair, for any questions and comments.
Any questions or comments?
So it sounds like as our staff upload different documents, to demonstrate compliance, there is an opportunity to receive feedback from MTC and scoring and then resubmit and improve scores.
Yeah, and MTC's been very flexible on working with jurisdictions on answering questions, getting those filled out and everything. So yeah, there should be, there's a little bit of a transition in the staffing there, but they have a good group of staff that are helping people through the process, as well as technical assistance. So some consultant resources too.
I had a question, which was so you're saying medium cities, which is what Santa Rosa and Petaluma fall under. It's 2 to 4 million each on this slide. Does that mean 2 to 4 million per TOC?
For the whole jurisdiction. So you'd be eligible for that.
Between 2 and 4 total.
Yeah, for
Got it.
total. Yep.
Okay.
And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be, if you get the incentive funding, it doesn't have to be spent in the TOCs. It can be anywhere in the jurisdiction. So it's a nice little bit of flexibility they've provided.
Yeah.
And they said, they definitely heard Katati, comments from Katati and other small jurisdictions. The amount has to be like, make it worth it, right? So that's why that $1 million floor was actually set. So.
Any other questions or comments?
Just to add, the amount was originally 50 million, however, 5 million was set aside for the 4 North Bay counties, and they will be distributed directly through our OBEC 4 shares. So instead of having a separate process governed by the CTAs for that incentive funds, we're getting direct funds from MPC for that. So we're able to advocate for that.
And would that come to the jurisdictions through the cycle 2 projects?
Correct.
Okay.
That's 5 per North Bay County or 5 for all?
5 for all. So we're in 1.25 million, I believe.
Any more? Great. You don't need anything from us. That was discussion, right?
Yeah. Just information. So wanted to keep you up to speed on that.
Great, thank you. Number 9, SCTCA meetings, 9.1, the board meeting, April 13th.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I will pull up the agenda now. It's still a little bit in flux. Screen a little bigger, very small. Too big. All right. So we have the red items here are the May agenda items. So we have the meeting notes, our third quarter financial report, action items for the TFCA program projects and the TDA 3 program projects, the maintenance of effort action, and also our preliminary budgets, and then our personnel policies and our legislative update. We also have 2 potential items for budget adjustment and also for local contributions from the cities towards the fiscal year 24 Safety and Roads for All grant. So it's a really light agenda, but the big meaty agenda is the adoption of our preliminary budgets for the fiscal year 26. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
And just an addendum, the maintenance of effort report will go in May rather than April. That was.
I'm looking at the wrong month. Thanks, Shauna.
I was surprised you already had TFCA going.
Yeah, so I'm already thinking that we're in April. So here's the April agenda. So we have different items, but you get a preview of May as well. So for April, we have the meeting notes, our quarterly reporting that you just heard earlier, a Plan Area 2050 letter from MTC, our adoption of our appropriations limit for Measure M and Go Sonoma, the budget adjustment I mentioned, and the State Streets for All local match contribution, a legislative update from our lobbyists who will, I believe, be here in person, a transit implementation ad hoc report out, and then big action on the coordinate claim. Both of those have a lot to do with the rollout of the mascots plan with the transit service changes that will be happening towards the end of April. We also have our normal reports, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have on the April agenda as well.
Any questions? No. Great. Number 10, roundtable.
We had a slurry seal project, a lot of East Cadati within our jurisdiction. And the bids came in 5% over our engineer's estimate. So I think we're starting to see. I remember last month, Santa Rosa had reported significant 20% under.
We are still getting unders.
Okay.
Actually, so I got updates from our deputy director of CIP. She says we opened our bid for Calistoga Road reconstruction project. It's 34% under.
Yeah.
North Dutton Avenue restriping, which is striping and K71s, is 12% under. There's some sort of water trunk lining project that's 4% over. She also updates that to date this year, we've advertised and bid about $60 million of work. And then for the bike ped overcrossing of Highway 101, the groundbreaking is on April 11th. So that's exciting. I'm sorry about your over. I don't mean to
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
rub it in.
Well, I would imagine with the
Estimated.
war going on that, and the increased price of petroleum, that costs will be going up.
I wonder, probably.
That could be it. Yeah, we just opened bids for a big project ourselves and bids came in 48% under engineer's estimate. I know, 48%.
What kind of project is that?
It's a road rehab. We're doing edge grind overlay basically on some residential streets with a current PCI of 7. And so
Singular? 7?
7, yeah, no accompanying 0. Yeah, so we're doing that. So it's engineer's estimate came in at 887,000. And you know, the levels are a little different based on the traffic indexes, but yeah, the low bid went to Team Gelati for like 450,000. So then we thought we could do this really big change order, right? Because we're like, oh my God, we can do this with like so many other streets. We could like, yeah. And then, you know, unfortunately our city attorney shut that down, but that's okay. So
Never have nice things.
I know, right? It was like, come on, it's just like, look the other way. People are going to be so happy. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry to hear that about slurry. We thought that the prices were going to go up too because of the cost of oil, but no. Or at least not for those bids. So
We've had contractors come back. If there's been a big change, increase material costs, and get increases.
we keep our fingers crossed they don't.
Yeah, if you use the Caltrans specs, usually there's the oil price index adjustment during your contract.
Yeah, we're implementing those we're having 2 contracts that are gonna go out in the next couple weeks. And we normally take that out, but with the way the oil prices are, we put them back in so that we hopefully don't get really high bids. So we'll see how it goes.
Good vibes. ATP Cycle 8 came out. I know County SPI is applying. Santa Rosa's kind of partnering on that, but we don't have our own application. Is anybody else doing ATP?
We're doing River Trail with some technical assistance from SCTA.
Nice.
I think we are too with the overcrossing, right?
Correct. And we may also be assisting SMART for their pathway between Healdsburg and Geyser and Cloverdale, depending on what they're looking for. Or Windsor to Healdsburg as well.
Any other roundtable updates?
I'm curious, I know it's early, but any info you can share about TFCA requests or?
So on the TFCA projects, we got a number of applications in. The amount requested exceeds what we have available. So Margaret and I will be reaching out to the 2 affected jurisdictions that had the lowest cost effective. So there was kind of at the cutoff line because we had 2 pots of TFCA funding. One is kind of the normal pot, which is both for transit and for bike and ped. And then this cycle, the Air District gave us another $1 million or so for bicycle facilities and bike parking.
So for the normal amount, we have one transit project that's at the cutoff line that we'll have to work with Sonoma County Transit to adjust their application. And for the bike ped, we'll be working with you, Bjorn, to revise your application to fit the amount that's available. So
I'm
those,
hearing you will not be reaching out to Santa Rosa.
that is correct.
No offense.
No, I'm good. I knew it's coming.
I just wanted to provide a comment. Thank you to Dawn for creating the place tags for all the members. It's nice having this for the meetings. Thank you.
All right.
There is one other informational item in your packet about the Community Infrastructure Center webinar that is being offered. It's just the last page of your packet in case you're interested. There's some information.
Anyone else? Meeting adjourned. I don't love that this is a thing.
You have to use it if you don't want.
Okay, great. I might not. Thank
Congratulations.
Yeah.
you so much. I'm gonna call my mom after this.